Hello YouTube, Goddard Radio Moscow here again with another beer review for you, as is usual. Now for this one we're going to continue on with the German series of beer reviews, but we're going to go to Stuttgart this time and I've already reviewed two beers from this brewery for you, so you can check those out in the video description. The link is down there. But this brewery is called Schwaben Bräu, and I believe the parent company is Privat Brauerei Stuttgart or Dinkelacker-Schwaben Bräu. I'm not sure exactly what the company title is, but I've reviewed the Weihnachts beer and the Das Echte Original Märzen for you before. So we're going to have a little look at Das Helle today, obviously a Helle style beer. And I actually realised when I picked this one up in the supermarket, my friend at home actually had this one. I think he got it from either Aldi's or Lidl's, and they had it around Oktoberfest and he really liked it. So a big shout out to my friend Grant for this review, if this is indeed the same beer, and I think it is. But as is usual with my beer reviews, I'll just take you through a brief history of the brewery and tell you a little bit where the beer's from, as I usually do. But as I always say, if you are simply interested in the tasting, feel free to fast forward in the video and you will catch that particular segment. So the history of this brewery appears to incorporate a number of different breweries that merged at various points throughout the history. The first of these breweries was that of Ernst Emanuel Smudge, who founded his eponymous brewery in the year 1861. Now in 1878, Robert Leicht laid the foundation stone for Schwabenbräu in the Vahingen district of Stuttgart. In 1888, Karl Dinkelacker established the Dinkelacker brewery, which still remains at the same location today. Now in 1897, Schwabenbräu became the first beer in Germany to be delivered by motor car, and this machine actually came from the house of Gottlieb Daimler, who I believe were the parent company of the Mercedes-Benz group. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not certain. But in 1900, Karl Dinkelacker brewed the famous Pils that is now well established as a favourite in Stuttgart, the CD Pils, obviously the CD coming from Karl Dinkelacker. In 1903, another brewery associated with Dinkelacker-Schwaben Bräu, or the Privat Brauerei Stuttgart, was born, and that was the brewery of David Sandwald, which specialised in the brewing of wheat beer. And that same year, Schwaben Bräu is bottled using one of the first automatic bottling machines in the world. Now in 1971, Dinkelacker bought over the long-established Schmush brewery, and then in 1978, Dinkelacker also acquired the Sandwald brewery, and this merged brewery continued to grow over the next few years, and in 1988 they were able to celebrate with VfB Stuttgart winning the championship in Bundesliga, of course. In 1996, you saw the merger of Dinkelacker and Schwaben Bräu breweries, who at this time were considered to be two of the major traditional Stuttgart breweries. And the brewery was owned for a period by InBev, but in 2007, Wolfgang Dinkelacker bought the brewery and returned the group to independence. So just today, the brewery has over 300 employees, and it's apparently the biggest brewery in Stuttgart and is one of the largest group independent breweries in Baden-Württemberg today. And it's actually quite cool, I think, with this brewery, because they've taken in all these different brands, but they allow the companies to sort of to basically operate independently and focus on their beer brewing, which is really cool. But they all use the same distribution network, and you can see I think it's really cool that the company has done this. It's a really German thing where they kind of just focus on the beer, and the business seems to be very well run as well, and they can actually have that focus on brewing the beer. But just to list some of the beers that you can actually get from these from this brewery. So you have it from Dinkelacker, you have the Helles, the Pils, the Dark, Märzen, Privat, Volksfest beer, Weihnachtsfest beer, Golden Lager, and also they had a 125th anniversary beer. From Schwaben Bräu you can get Das Echte, which is the Märzen, one I've reviewed for you already. Das Schwarz, which is a Schwarz beer, I'll be reviewing that one for you very soon. Das Naturtrüb, which is a Keller beer. Das Helle, this one here, which is a Munich style lager. Hellerbock, Meister Pils, Meister Weizen, and you can get a Hell and a Dunkel variety of this. Original Pils, Volksfest beer, and also Weihnachtsfest beer. Under the Sandwald name you can get Export, Hefeweizen, Kristallweizen, Dunkelweizen, Radler Cola beer, and you can also get some light varieties as well. Under the Brauchel name you can get the Export and the Hefeweizen. Under the Smudge name you can get Wühle beer. Under Klaus you can get a Keller Pils and an Export. Under Heigerloker and Heidelberger Siegel Monastery, you can get a Hefeweizen and Dunkel, Helles and Crystal varieties obviously in there, and you can also get a Pils, Landbier and a Spezial from Heigerloker Siegel Monastery. So there's quite a lot of beers there, but just to summarise what actually happened with this brewery again for you today. The summary basically is of the brewery history. Dinkelacker bought over the Smudge and Sandwald brewery, and then Dinkelacker and Schwaben Bräu merged together. So that's a basic history of it for you, but let's get on to the tasting of this beer. I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the at the label and stuff on this one, as you can see, there's a guy just sort of sitting enjoying one of the beer. He actually looks a bit like a brewer who's just admiring his beer as he's produced it there. And you can see there it just says, as it said in the history, the company was founded in the year 1878. There's the top label of it there, and this is the sort of symbol of the Schwaben Bräu, one of the sort of brand marks, if you like, of the Privat Brauerei Stuttgart. This guy doesn't have any markings on the top of it. Some of these do, in fact. I'm pretty sure the other ones that I've reviewed for you so far did. The beer for every day, it says on the bottom in German there, das Bier für jeden Tag. And sorry about my pronunciation. I'm not sure exactly what vollmundig or suffig means. I'll need to look that up, hopefully. But yeah, it seems like a really nice beer. This guy is due to be drank by 8/8/2014, so I'm still in date. But without further ado, let's get this guy open and get on with the tasting here. This guy is 5% ABV, and obviously with the name Das Helle, it's a Helle style beer. So let's see how big a bang we can get out of this guy. That was not bad at all. You can see a nice smoky opening there. And we'll just get it out and into the glass. No real aroma I'm picking up just from pouring it. Some of the beers have got really strong aromas that you can pick up just as you pour them. So let's see if we can get a nice... It's just going to go overboard there with that. As you can see, quite a bumpy head on this guy, not really a frothy head. See if I can just get the last little bit in here for you. I was a bit too aggressive with the pour there, I was getting ahead of myself. So let's close this guy up. As you can see, it's all good. So as you can see, I kind of maybe just under a 2-finger bumpy head. I'll give it the 2 fingers because it was up to here a little minute ago. You can see it's pretty much transparent. I can see my fingers if I put that behind it. There's a lot of carbonation visible in this guy. I would call it probably a pale straw colour, but it's a really attractive looking beer actually. And as you can see, the head is just sort of dissipating down, but a lot of small bubbles coming up towards the head there, and that head's fading actually. So in terms of the aroma with this guy, a lot of bready yeast, but there is actually a good bit of grassy aroma to it as well. You can pick up, if you take it in quite deeply, you can smell some kind of starch in it as well, I would say. But mainly sort of bready and yeasty character in the aroma. But yeah, definitely starch and grassy character there. The head's just kind of dissipated almost completely on this guy now. But yeah, it's a really attractive looking beer, but a very, very mild aroma, I would say. In terms of the taste, a lot of bready and doughy yeast in this guy. Yeah, there's some sort of grainy character in there as well, and you're getting some grassy flavours on the finish, maybe just a little bit of citrus in there as well. But yeah, lots of bready and doughy yeast in there, definitely. And like I say, the hoppy side of the beer comes out, and you've got grass and citrus mixed in with that. There is a little bit of a kind of cardboard flavour to it. The aftertaste, the sort of doughy and bready aftertaste on this guy is lasting quite long, in fact. It's quite a nice one. I can see if you've never tried some German beer before. My friend really raved about this beer when we had it at first. And when I did have it at first, we really enjoyed it. It is a very nice one to sort of get you into German beer. But at the same time, I think it could be a lot more flavourful. And if you try some of the local beers in Germany, this guy, for a Helle style beer, you see the difference between this guy and some of the really local stuff. It does lack a little bit in flavour, but in the flavour, as I say, you've got a lot of bready and doughy yeast with some grainy character in there. The hoppy side of the beer definitely is grassy and citric, and it does have a little bit of a cardboard feel to it, and it's got quite a long finish where you're getting more of the bready and doughy thing, and just a little hint of the grassy character, of course. In terms of the mouthfeel though, it's very light bodied, quite soft with low carbonation, and it's a very, very smooth beer. One of the smoothest I've had, in fact. But yeah, definitely a very, very smooth beer, and it's quite crisp and actually quite watery as well. So ideally this beer is quite good, I think, for sitting out in the sun and just drinking it. And overall I would say this beer it's nice, but it could be a lot more flavourful, and that's the thing that lets it down. If you come to Germany and actually have some of the local German beer, there's a lot better beers than this guy, I would say. But if you are drinking it abroad, this is maybe a good one to actually try. It's a nice sort of export beer from Germany, but all the best beer in Germany is the local stuff, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a very, like I say, in terms of a Helles beer, for one of the mass-produced Helles beers, it is a nice one to try, I think. And as is usual, you get more, obviously, you get more flavour out of a craft beer than you do out of a mass-produced one. Schwaben Bräu is one of the mass-producing breweries, of course, here. So if you want a macro beer that's a fairly nice Helles, you know, give this guy a try and see what you think. If you're drinking German export beer and you want a Helles style beer, this is a good one to try. I'm not quite sure if it tops the likes of Paulaner or Münchner Helles, of course, but it is a nice one to try, and if you want something different, give it a go. Like I say, I quite enjoyed this when I first tried it out with Germany. Of course, when you come here, the beer is a lot better than you would actually think, of course. But as I say, overall this beer is nice, but it could be a lot more flavourful. So anyway, I hope you found this beer review informative. Please let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on this beer itself. I would say that the Helles beers I've had from some of the craft breweries are better, so that's a little summary of the beer review for you. But thanks again for your support over my 170 or so videos now. Please like, subscribe, share, help me get my channel to grow. Thanks for your support over the last couple of videos. Let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on the beer, as I always say. But thanks again for watching, and I shall catch you soon with another beer review. Cheers.